Kings, queens, and in-betweens. How flows your well-being? I hope it's great. It's a wonderful evening. It's chilly, chilly, chilly. I'm getting some downloads, and so I needed to record it. I want to talk about the danger of unawareness. I feel we are, as a species, getting stronger and stronger. However, 95% of the population have no idea who they are, what they're capable of, and what's going on. And when you hold immense power and you're ignorant that you're using it, chaos ensues. The reality we live is created collectively through all of us. And while there is a collective reality, you can also disconnect from the matrix and build your own world. That's not where I want to go. The things that are happening are signs that we desire change, pray for change, dream of change. And then when the test comes to test whether or not that's true, we don't go in the direction of our desire. We go in the direction of what we perceive to be. Just think about the magnitude and the outlandishness of some of the things that are going on now and how that correlates with your thoughts. I want for people to get along and for there to be unity. And then when the chance comes to disagree with someone, but say, I accept you anyway, most people fail that test. And then when you continue to talk about the problem and continue to not choose to go in the direction of the solution, then the things that you create, that we collectively create, will get bigger and bigger and bigger until we start winning that first round, that first test to say, do you really want this or don't you? We most of us scratch our heads, where are we? Why are we here? What in the absolute fuck is going on? But then That's not where I wanted to go either. I had a really out there thought, but I want to at least record it for myself. I may or may not share it. But it was illustrating the power of the increased power that we're experiencing nowadays with evolving mankind. What's been in the news a lot for the past year and a half, maybe 2 years, is ICE, as in the police force stuff. It's been just blasted everywhere, all social media platforms, all conversations, in the church, at home. It's all anybody's talking about. What are we experiencing this weekend, that I still don't see evidence of right now? But ice and snow, accumulation of ice, the worst we've seen in however many years. And it seems out there because they're two different things. But when you don't understand your power and you start saying words enough and you hear ICE and you don't think about what it stands for, and you just, then you, this up here is creating what we live in. So as you look around and you observe that the world you're living in is full of tragedy and full of turmoil and full of all the things that make you feel negative, you have to now look inwards and say, where are my thoughts? Where is my speech? Where are my beliefs? What are they founded off? Are they founded in truth, or are they founded in somebody's version of truth? Or are they founded in this? Or doesn't really matter what your truth is founded on, but you need to know it for yourself. Evaluate it, because from everybody's perspective, there's either going to be right or wrong, and you're never going to agree. Never. No, you're not ever going to get everybody to agree on what's right or wrong, because everybody has a different perspective. It's just not possible. And it's not, you don't want it to be possible, because then what part of what makes life eternal is the up and the down, and the dark and the light, and the right and the wrong, and the good and the bad, and that kind of cycle is what allows life to ongo. When nobody ever contradicts another, no, everybody just agrees and just hunky dory. There's not really any growth. There's no desire for more. There's no new ideas. Because your ideas aren't challenged, and so nobody. So you don't want to agree on everything. What you want is to disagree and still be able to get along. And I understand the argument is going to be, well, I can do that, but they're the ones who's trying to kill me. I'm not going to get on that road. I'm just talking about individually. Decide whether or not you are focusing on thoughts, beliefs, words, deeds, actions, dreams on stuff that you want, or stuff that you see that you don't want, but it's true because you see it. And you have a hard time believing that what you want is true because you can't see it yet. But the gag is the life you experience on a day-to-day basis is a life based off of what you believe. And as we go through life, sometimes depending on what you experience, you either learn to evaluate, oh, I experienced this not because somebody's out to get me, not because I've done bad things in the past life, not because I'm unworthy, not because. It's only because I have a belief that this equals this, and so that's what I see. If I want to see different things, if I want to experience different outcomes, if I want to experience new creations, I have to first believe that it's true, speak that it's true, be delusional that it's true. Because humanness is to say it's not real because I can't see it. Who to tap into the creation power that is you and flows through you, you have to step out of your ego, your fear, your logic, and say, these images and visions and dreams and stuff that I get or receive or connect with, how cruel for me to how cruel of a universe or a God to allow me to be able to envision something that's not possible. So the truth is, it's all possible, but only up unto the point that you believe. So that's why your words are so important, because as you speak, that is sound and vibration, and that will enter. Not only do you hear your voice inside your head before you speak, once you speak it, now you've engaged your other senses that send signals to the brain, and so now you're altering your frequency with the things you're saying. And so, that's how in these, crime movies and certain things, or I forget the name of the symptom where the kidnappee falls in love with the kidnapper, because it's all, there's a belief, but if you're not reinforcing your own belief with spoken word, then somebody else can take their spoken word and start manipulating the inside voice, thus manipulating your whole frequency, and then they become in control of what you experience, which explains what we're going through today, where food grows on trees for free, but yet we're paying $7 for a goddamn orange, and air is free, and we pay thousands and thousands of dollars for purifiers, and water is 70% of the earth or more, and yet we pay $12. There's a frequency that's been programmed into us, And the longer you hold on to that, because you say, oh, these ideas are too out there or whatever, whatever, then you reinforce that frequency with your outside voice. And now you are incapable of experiencing anything else other than what you believe and what you continue to speak. So until you say, I keep experiencing this, I keep seeing this, and you recognize that it's something that you don't want, the way to become aware of that reality, because once you want it, it exists. Once you imagine it, once you dream about it, once you think about it, once you create it, you're asking for it. Keep on asking and it will be given to you. That world is created. In order for us to become aware and to step into it and to live that experience of the world of the version of ourselves, of our relationships, of our whatever, the way to experience it is to tap into the frequency of it. And that's the hard, part of life, because there's a collective frequency or a program. This and this make this. Pay your taxes here. Go to church here. Love this type of person. Don't love this type of person. You get all these programs. And depending on where you grew up in the world and how you grew up in the world and what time period you grew up in the world, those programs evolve and go away and change and then reappear, and it shapes all of who we are. And that is the importance of practicing unconditional love, because you have to understand all of us are creating the world we're living in. Whether you think you're participating or not, daily you are creating a piece of the experience that we're living. And so if it's not going the way you want it to, you have to take responsibility and say, something I believe, something I speak, something I continue to repeat is causing me to vibrate at a frequency where I am experiencing stuff that I don't like. And in order to experience something different, I have to change. Sure, they need to change. They shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be doing this. But maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they should. But they're creating their version of the world, and you're creating your version of your world. So if that person is not doing what you think they should be doing, that's not the time to go try to take them out and tell them that they're wrong. That's the time to say, why did that come up into my experience? I don't necessarily like that. I don't agree with that. And then you say, I don't like the way I feel when I look at that. And then you say, why? What do I believe about that makes me feel this way? Is that something that I want to continue to believe? Because I understand that I live in a world collectively with other people. So even though I usually experience what I want to create and what I have created, because I exist in a world with billions of other creators, I'm going to occasionally run into this thing that I don't like. So, and because there's so many creators, I might run into that a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And I hate feeling this way. So, do I want to hold on to this belief so that I can get pissed off and want to kill people, unalive people, every time this happens? Or do I want to tweak my belief, tweak my understanding, give grace here? Do I want to do my part to help me feel better? Not, do I want to do my part to change the world, change the world? I need to change my world. And as each person starts saying, I want to change my world, which means I want to be happy and joyful and in love and be loved, then the things that you create will be created out of love and everyone can be happy. But as long as you keep passing judgment and hatred and separation and 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 fear and blame and shame, passing it off on other people and pointing fingers. What's that expression? If you point at me, there's three pointing back at. That's what's happening. When if you point at it and just this, we're not here to argue what's right and what's wrong. Like I said, that is a time-wasting argument because you will never, ever, ever get the whole world to agree on what is and what is. It's just not going to happen. So don't waste time on that argument. Say, what can I feel that will help me feel better? And then that's what you get more of. As long as you say, this gets on my nerves, this gets on my nerves, this is stupid, this is unjust, this is blah, 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 blah. Where's your mind? Is your mind on vacations and peace? And you say it is. We want peace. But what do we talk about all day? What do we watch all day? What kind of news programs and music and stuff do we listen to that install data of one belief or another, depending on whoever the creator is? And then that is altering your frequency to believe one thing or another, so much so that you could not have an opinion about this thing or that and start trusting implicitly this data that now you say that's wrong or this is the only thing that's right. And you could argue that's what I'm doing now, but what you're not hearing me say, at least I don't think, is that anybody else's way of viewing things is wrong. I said I had a download and I'm sharing it. Most of you are going to call me crazy. Even more of you don't even watch these. Because y'all know I just be liking to talk to myself. So anyway, that's what I was starting this to say. The danger of being unaware. You are a creator. You are not the creator, because that has existed beyond human existence. That energy, God, source, infinite intelligence, it's been infinite. And then now, in the year of 2026, we are in a time period where that energy exists as you and me. And the danger of not being aware that that's who you are, that you are a creator, is that you're creating chaos with your lack of focus. You create more chaos with the words you speak, not understanding that they are vibrations and they are actively manipulating frequencies inside yourself and inside others that you don't want to be true, but because you repeat them and you add you add emotion to those words that intensifies your magic, and then you wonder, why am I experiencing this? Why? One hand on heart, one hand on diaphragm, stomach. It's okay. It's part of something I created. If I don't like it, I can change it. And then we have to believe that. But as long as you believe that that's just the way things are, and that other people are in control of your world, they might have influence because they may have momentum. There is momentum behind the idea of certain establishments that make rules. There is momentum, but there is power behind that because there's a lot of thought power behind that idea. Before the folks got here to this land, it was lived on by people who had no concept of what's going on. So that concept was a program, a way of speech, a way of believing, a way of behaving, a way of teaching. It's been going on for a long time. And so now it feels inescapable because you say, this is reality. When it's not reality. It is reality, but reality is changing continuously. As you create, so things change. At one time, planes didn't exist. And then somebody thought, how do I get from this place to that place quicker? And then that became an idea that more people wondered and thought about. It would be really nice if I could get from here to there faster. And then it became an idea. And then people start saying, oh, well, E equals MC squared. And then that leads to this, and engineers and flight patterns and studying animals and how they maneuver. Thought creates in this momentum. So the reality that we're experiencing has momentum, but it does not mean that it has to be the momentum that you keep within yourself. If your vibration doesn't match what is going on, you will experience something quite different. And that's where you get into wealth and poverty. And there's a mindset, there's a way of speaking, there's a way of believing between those people. You can say it's the government taking, doing this and that, and people not doing this and that. That is a perspective, and everybody's allowed to have that perspective. I'm just sharing the perspective that They believe they want it. They believe they've done enough to earn it. They believe that it flows to them, and so they have it. If you're reverse, if you believe you don't deserve it, if you believe it's not possible, if you believe that you were born into something that could never get it, then you live a life of lack and victimhood. And so everything that's why they just reintroduced this show, Fear Factor. Why do you think that is? Honestly, why do you think, why do you, in a time right now when so many people are scared for various different reasons, regardless of the side politically that you're on, both sides are operating in fear. Why? Why would the media think that this is a good time to introduce a show centered around fear? Do you want to know why? Because I'll tell you. You cannot create positive change with negative energy. You can influence it. You can have so much negative energy. You can have so much negative energy to where things become out of balance. And then nature is forced to correct and get that balance back, which is what's going on now. Not enough people are vibrating at positive frequencies to counteract negativity. And so large events are happening to get people to chill and to rest and to come to a stop. Wildfires, crazy ice storms, crazy electromagnetic fields in the we are creating storms for ourselves because we are refusing to hold on to and practice and choose the energy called love that can help get that balance back. The goal is not to have no wickedness. Let me rephrase that. The goal is not to never experience something that you don't want, because that sparks new growth within you. I don't like this. I do want that. That gives you direction. So the goal isn't to eliminate feeling bad ever. The goal is to feel good most of the time, because that allows you to have the most fun where you are. I think my battery's going to die, so I think I'm going to end there. And I believe I got. Don't know what message I was trying to get, but stuff comes, so I shared it. Hopefully you got something from it. Hopefully I didn't piss you off, but if I did, don't care. I don't. Not anymore. But anyways, I love you. I hope everyone stays safe and hugs your family as much as you can, whether they're blood family or chosen family. Doesn't matter. Hug people who love you. Tell them you love them. And love more, be more, achieve more. Drink water, shut off, and have fun. Love you.